Hey everyone, welcome to NoDQ.com's predictions video for the WWE Royal Rumble pay-per-view, as well as the NXT versus NXT UK Worlds Collide event. I am being joined by the NoDQ panel. They have their Twitter handles, so if you have a complaint, you know where to find them. We have NoDQ Vice, we have NoDQ Virtue, and NoDQ Big G. I'm Aaron Rift. Let's go ahead and get started. We have a lot of matches to discuss. We have a huge card for the Royal Rumble, and we have plenty of matches for the NXT show. Let's go ahead and get started. Our first match is from NXT, and it is the kickoff match. We have Mia Yim versus Kylie Ray from NXT UK. So, we'll start with Big G, since Big G is our NXT resident super fan. Big G, what do you think about this match being on the kickoff?
Well, Kaylee Ray, she is the NXT UK Women's Champion, so no surprise there that, well, it is kind of a surprise that she's on the kickoff. Mia Yim, she really hasn't done much recently. She was in the War Games match. And I'm going to go with Kaylee Ray to get the win over Mia Yim.
All right. No DQ Vice.
Hi, man. I'm going to go ahead and piggyback off Big G for a change. I don't think there's going to be any title changes in this match. Otherwise, I don't think it would be on the kickoff. I think it's pretty cut and dry. Yim had some good stuff going on in the War Games. But again, if you're on a kickoff match and a championship match, I don't think there's going to be a big title change.
Is this a championship match?
No, it's not a championship match.
Oh, the title isn't on the line for this?
No.
No, well then, yeah, the champions. Well, no. Then I guess the champion's not going to win. If it's a title match, the champion retains. Non-title match, the opponent's going to get a win somehow under probably circumstances that you could have scrutiny to. There's going to be a cheap finish more than likely. So I'll back out. I'm not behind Big G anymore. Going Yim.
All right. Well, I'm going with Kylie Ray just because she is, the NXT UK Women's Champion, and I don't really see Mia Yim going to the UK to face her at some point. So I really see no point in Mia Yim winning the match. So that's my pick. And Virtue, you're going with Mia Yim?
Yeah, because it's a non-title match, right, Big G?
Yes,
non-title. And this is what WWE likes to do. So Mia Yim is going to win this match and get nothing for it other than a round of applause by her fans.
All right, fair enough. Good predictions, everybody. Looks like we have our first super chat from Ken, terminated by Google. So I'll pull that up here in just a second. Let's go to the next match. We are having a little bit of technical difficulties here because my chat room is not popping up here on this software. So I apologize to everyone. I'm going to get to the super chats and the comments here in just a minute. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and get to the next match, which is the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. Now, as you can see on the graphic, there are 2 vacant spots, but we actually do know the other 2 competitors in the match. So it's Angel Garza defending against Isaiah Swerve Scott, Jordan Devlin, and Travis Banks. So, Robbie, we'll start with you. Cruiserweight title match. Angel Garza won relatively recently, so
yeah.
Do you think he's going to win the title? Or retain the championship, or do you think we're going to see somebody else win the title?
Got to go by my logic. Title's on the line. A fresh champion at that. I don't think they're looking to just hot potato this belt because I think they want to make it something special. So I'm going to say, I think it'll be a fun match. If you're a fan of All Elite Wrestling and that style of wrestling, you're going to probably love this match. It'll be exciting. There's going to be a lot of dives and flips. But at the end of the day, there's going to be a lot of game competitors. Champion retains.
All right. Big G, what do you think?
So you have Angel Garza, Isaiah Swerve Scott, Jordan Devlin, and Travis Banks. This will be one hell of a match. All very talented. I watch NXT UK on the side. I'm going to say Garza is going to retain the title. He's going to take a Devlin on all the other guys and go from there.
All right. Now, Virtue, before I get to your prediction, I finally got the chat room pulled up on my phone because of the technical issues here. So, Ken Terminated by Google sent in the first $5 super chat of the evening. He says, Rift, I am probably the only TJS fan, so it's too bad. Oh, wait a second. So it's too bad Tyler isn't there. By the way, what up, Robbie Vice? Shout out from Ken Terminated by Google. And then Mo Camera deciding, I forgot to mention it to everybody, so let me do that now. I got to get up to speed here with everybody. I wanted to say it at the beginning, but I was so caught up in everything else. So if you guys are going to leave super chats, it's very much appreciated, but please stick with the topic of the match if possible. Otherwise, we are going to wait until the end of the video to address your question. Now, Mo Camera, because I just said it, I'll go ahead and read your comment real quickly here. He says, it's a new decade and we're talking about Roman Reigns winning the Rumble. WWE is counterproductive. Again, we'll talk more about that here in a few minutes. So, Virtue, go ahead and let's hear your prediction for the Cruiserweight match.
What an idiot comment that was, by the way. Angel Garza is going to retain the Cruiserweight Championship, so I agree with a couple of you. All of you, do we all pick the same?
I think so far.
So far.
I'm also going with Angel Garza. Like I said earlier, he just won the title, and because of that, I do not see him losing it this quickly in the game. So I think so far it's one NXT UK for me and then one for NXT. I'm trying to keep track of who's going to win from each brand throughout the evening. All right, so now we'll move on to the next match. Hey, no coughing allowed here. We're doing a live stream, damn it.
It's live.
Yeah, no
I'm jumped
coughing.
up over that. Roman bashing going on, and we're talking about NXT.
All right. Our next match is a tag team match. Holla, holla, holla. We have the Mustache Mountain up against the reunited DIY. This is going to be, I'm just going to say this right now. I think that this is going to be the match of the evening and maybe the match of the weekend. These guys are going to kill it. I've been waiting for the longest time to see Tyler Bate in there with Johnny Gargano. I just think this match is going to be phenomenal. I know Virtue's like, oh, these vanilla midgets doing their flips and flops, but I think we are going to see Gargano and Ciampa win because I think they're the bigger stars by far, with all due respect to Tyler Bate, who I think will be a big star when it's all said and done. But I got to go with Gargano and Ciampa. DIY, we're live, pal.
We're not talking about the Usos.
Yeah, there you go. I think DIY is going to win their reunion match. I think that's a pretty safe bet here. Real quick, Virtue, before I go to you. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, cruiserweights? More like loserweights. Ouch. What do you think about that line?
Man.
And what do you think about what I said that maybe you're not feeling this match as much because it's guys doing moves and whatnot? Go ahead.
Well, that comment was a good one, super chat. So DIY is going to win, Gargano and Ciampa. I mean, seriously, I have another prediction for this match besides them winning, is I predict 5 separate "This is awesome" chants by the crowd for this match. 5.
I think they'll be chanting it when the match is just getting started. They'll do "This is awesome."
But, yeah, and I like Tyler Bate, by the way. I mean, I remember back that great match he had with Pete Dunne. So it's going to be a good match, but I got to go Gargano and Ciampa. I mean, no brainer for me. We'll see what happens.
All right, Big G.
Who's next?
Yeah, I'm happy for this match. You know, we've all been waiting for it. At least most of us have been. You know, Mustache Mountain, Trent Seven, Tyler Bate, very good in NXT UK. DIY just coming back together, but I'm gonna go with DIY too. And it'll be one hell of a match, though.
All right, Robbie Vice.
Mustache Mountain, I think, will win this match. And the reason is I think they want to do an upset because I think that just seems to be a WWE trend. Also, I just feel that maybe Undisputed Era might get involved with some interference in this match that's going to give the edge to Mustache Mountain.
Curtis Butler says this tag team match produced by Shawn Michaels. Yeah, well, if Shawn Michaels has anything to do with it, I think it should be a hell of a match. And Shawn's been doing a great job with his work in NXT. And yeah, I really have high hopes. My expectations are through the roof for this one. By the way, guys, as we're doing our predictions here, feel free to leave some of your predictions and thoughts. And I I will go ahead and read off some of the comments, but I'm going to try to be selective so we get through this as quickly as possible and we're not on here for like 3 hours talking about these matches. Let's go ahead and move on to the next match of the card, which is the Women's Championship match. Well, I guess I should say the NXT Championship now. Rhea Ripley defending the NXT title against Toni Storm. So, Robbie Vice, I don't think we've started with you yet. What are your thoughts on this match?
I think Rhea Ripley absolutely wins this match because they're establishing her as a credible champion, and they need to maintain that. Toni Storm is doing good things over there on the UK side, and I think some of their interactions have been very good. But at the end of the day, I feel that the company probably is going to prioritize NXT USA versus NXT UK, and the NXT USA champion is going to win this match.
Fair enough. Virtue.
Did Toni Storm win the Mae Young Classic? I forgot.
Yes, she did.
Ooh, so but Rhea Ripley recently. Who did Rhea Ripley recently beat to become the NXT Women's Champion?
Big G knows.
Unfortunately,
Shayna Baszler. She's going to retain. There'll be a very game Toni Storm, right? That's how we go. But Rhea Ripley will successfully defend her championship, no doubt.
All right, Big G, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Rhea Ripley. I mean, I like Toni Storm. She's doing NXT. I think she's on both brands right now, flipping back and forth. But Rhea Ripley is a star in the making, and Triple H and even Shawn Michaels probably have high hopes for her.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Rhea Ripley, she just won the title. She beat Shayna Baszler, of all people. No way she's losing this match to Toni Storm. I think that this is probably the easiest match of the evening to predict. So I definitely have to.
Which means we'll be wrong.
That would be
possibly.
That would be a huge shocker. I will say that. I will be legitimately surprised if Toni Storm defeated Rhea Ripley. I would be shocked beyond shocked. Like I am not expecting that to happen. And shout out to Andre for tuning in. I appreciate it. I know, not Big G, Virtue, you and Andre, you guys go back a ways, don't you?
Good old Andrade Corbeil.
He used to get on my case so much about TNA and being critical of them. So yeah, I appreciate that he's still watching, despite me bashing TNA all the time, or Impact Wrestling, excuse me. All right, moving on here. And I fixed the whole thing with the overlay issue. Again, this is all new to me, guys, so bear with me. I'm using new software, and this is a work in progress, but over time, it'll get better, I promise. Next match we have is a singles match. We have Finn Balor one-on-one, and I cannot pronounce his name for the life of me.
I'll say it.
Go ahead.
Ilya Dragunov.
All right, thank you for that. I appreciate it, Big G. Since you were able to pronounce it, how about you go first on this one? Do you think there's any chance that the upstart might beat the veteran?
Balor is having a match against Gargano at NXT TakeOver Portland here in a couple weeks. And, Ilya Dragunov is uprising, so I think he's going to pull the upset and get the 1-2-3 over the Prince, Finn Balor.
All right. Well, I agree with you that, because of the upcoming Portland show, there's no reason for Balor to be losing as far as I'm concerned. So I got to go with Balor to pick up the victory here. And what's-his-name will be very game. I think he needs a name change, though, if he's going to be going to regular NXT or the main roster at some point, because I just have trouble with it. I mean, I guess if I heard it enough times, I would eventually get it right. But Dragunov?
Yeah, Dragunov. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think Balor will beat Dragunov. Virtue, what do you think?
I'm going to go Finn Balor. I mean, I got to convince myself to even pick anybody on the UK side here. So, is that where Dragunov is from, Big G? The UK side? Is he on that brand?
Yeah, he's on the NXT UK.
I mean, I admit I'm not the big. I watch. It takes me like 3 months to finally watch their pay-per-views, but I always watch the NXT ones. And Finn Balor is there for a reason, and it's to go over, I think. I mean, he has to. Got to be strong, right? Especially he ends up being in main event type matches down there. So Finn Balor for sure, in my opinion.
All right, Robbie Vice, I think you want to go.
Yeah, Finn Balor. Yeah, it's Finn Balor.
All right, you want to go the.
I don't need to go. You guys all said it. It's all true. Finn Balor is one of the biggest stars in all of NXT. He's just recently returned. There is no reason for him to lose, because if he's going to lose to this random guy, not a random guy, don't get mad at me, UK fans, but if he's going to lose to this guy, I'm not going to believe that he's going to beat Johnny Gargano, right? It doesn't make sense. So, yeah, Prince Devitt all the way.
All right, sounds good. And now we move on to our main event of Worlds Collide, which is a tag team match, but it's an 8-man tag team match, a battle of the factions. We have the Undisputed Era up against the NXT UK's Imperium. And man, how about that chop from Walter to Adam Cole on NXT? That was sick.
I mean, Adam Cole almost broke his neck.
Yeah, he took a crazy bump for that. That was pretty cool.
Brutal. That was on a.
Now, I know for
Dangerous.
me at least, I went with pretty much main NXT for almost all of these matches. Now, because of that, I think this is going to be the one match where the UK pulls off the big victory. Imperium's been pretty hot, and Undisputed Era, they could do this storyline now where they're starting to split up, or maybe starting to finally have some cracks in the foundation, because first we had Roderick Strong lose the North American title, so now they could lose at this pay-per-view, and it could start to tease maybe things are not good in the world of Undisputed Era. Maybe this is the beginning of the end for them. So I think Imperium is going to win this. This will be NXT UK's one big win of the show. Virtue, go ahead.
Didn't you once say recently that you can't take Walter seriously anymore since his recent whatever happened? Was it Survivor Series, or I don't remember what happened? But you're picking Imperium to win. Is it? I'm going to ask you this: why? Just because the way that Undisputed Era is, maybe they're going to start dissension within the group?
Yeah, and also I just don't see a clean sweep. And because I went with NXT for the other stuff, I feel like the UK's got to win at least one. Like they're gonna be fair. It's not going to be a clean sweep. I mean, it could be, but man, NXT UK would look really weak if they lost every single match. I feel like they got to win one. So by default, this is the one I'm going with. And again, it's like the whole, you got to rehabilitate Walter after losing that match. So, he could always pin Bobby Fish or something to win the match for his team,
And you know what? I'm thinking the same thing. I did not pick any other UK, so in this match, I will, but not because they need one, because I really think that there's going to be dissension starting with Undisputed Era for whatever reason. We're in a new year. WrestleMania season's coming up. We all know what happens after WrestleMania season. So, yes, Imperium wins, and Walter is the one that goes over in the match.
All right, well, so Psycho Jet Black just left a $2 super chat, and he says Walter will be pinned in 3 minutes. I don't think that's going to happen this time. Big G, what do you think?
Yeah, I like Undisputed Era, and I like your thinking. There's going to be cracks starting to be developing in Undisputed Era. I'm going to go with Imperium, just because they're also part German, and I got to be biased since I'm German. So
fair enough.
Got to go with the motherland.
All right, Robbie.
That would be Russia.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, I also am going to go with Imperium, but I'm going to say that after the match, because we're all going to agree that it needs to be some form of tiebreaker. I definitely think that Roddy Strong is going to get stomped on. He's going to be the weak link in this. He's going to get kicked out. And I think over the next few weeks, they're going to replace him in Undisputed Era with somebody else. So that's my predictions, Imperium. My side prediction to that is I think Roddy gets stomped out, and I think he's going to be the blame. I think he's going to take the pin from Walter, and I think he's going to be they're going to beat the crap out of him after the match.
Interesting. Well, OG Crushes in the chat room says Roderick Strong to the main roster. I mean, maybe, but I don't think it's going to happen right away. But I could see. Yeah, good point. I could see that possibly going down at some point, but we'll have to wait and see. I mean, I could definitely see some kind of dissension with the Undisputed Era. I mean, they've been together for a while now, and I think at some point, nothing lasts forever, except for the New Day, apparently. But yeah, I think we might start to see some kind of dissension with them. And, it's an interesting storyline. All right, we're done with Worlds Collide. Let's move on to the main roster. Virtue's like, thank the Lord, we're finally able to move on here.
No, because there's going to be a lot more with Rumble here. We still got to go, man. I want to get to some super chats and other stuff.
All right, let's do it. Okay, Royal Rumble pay-per-view. All right, the first match we have here is for the United States Championship. We have Andrade defending against Humberto Carrillo. Now, WWE has not announced this as the kickoff match yet, but I have a pretty strong feeling if there is a kickoff match, this is going to be there. I mean, they could end up throwing some random match together. Christopher Mace, real quick here with a $5 super chat, says, who should they replace Roderick Strong with if they kick them out of the group? Do you guys think that? I mean, Vice, do you think that they should do it or no? Like, replace him or just have a 3-person group?
Yeah, I think they should replace him. As of who it is, I mean, I think down the road it could be, Finn Balor. I think you could see that. Or maybe even someone they've been feuding with. Maybe Dijakovic decides to go to the dark side and he wants to get a better shot, against their new North American or whatever that title is called champion and Keith Lee. So I think there's a lot of good story opportunities there. But yeah, I think they should kick him out and they should replace him. And I think Dijakovic or whatever his name is probably at the top of my list.
Yeah, imagine the day that they do Dijakovic versus Dragunov. Then that's going to be a mouthful to try and talk about that one.
Mara will be screaming it.
They need a female. They need a female in that group. What happened to those days? What about like a Dakota Kai or something? I don't know.
Yeah, good idea. I like it. All right, so Andrade just won the title. You know the drill here, and I don't see Humberto winning no matter how many times WWE tries to push this guy. He's a good wrestler. I mean, he's really impressive, but man, I think the guy has like zero personality, and Andrade's hot right now, He got some momentum finally. After a while, it felt like he was just floundering on the main roster, and now he seems to be coming into his own and really having a place on Monday Night Raw. To me, it's a no-brainer. Andrade's got to be picking up the victory here. Virtue, what do you think?
Yes, Andrade. And the fact that Carrillo, or however you say his name, I think he was already kind of like in Vince McMahon's like doghouse once because he wasn't impressed the first little mini push he got. I don't know how true this is or whatever, but the fact that he kind of disappeared and just recently came back, there's no way he's winning the U.S. title. I mean, you got Zelina Vega there. They'd look pretty bad if Zelina and Andrade can't keep the title on him as heels at this show, especially if it's on the kickoff.
Yeah,
so, and retention for sure.
We have a $5 super chat from Ken, terminated by Google. Thank you for being on topic. He says, do you guys find Humberto to be the most bland competitor on the roster? At least Tito Santana had charisma. Well, not a whole lot more. Tito wasn't a very good promo, but I would say Tito had a little bit more personality than Humberto. Maybe not quite as good of a high flyer. I mean, Tito was pretty good for his era, but I mean, Humberto's impressive. Big G, what do you think? I mean, do you think he's the most bland guy on the roster? What do you think?
I don't know when I say the most bland character. I mean, if he would have stayed on NXT and 205 Live, that would have been perfect for him. There really isn't that much storytelling on 205 Live. It's just more wrestling. But now that you're on the main roster, you want to be kind of invested in somebody, and they really haven't done anything with Humberto to make us invest in him. Now, with Andrade, they've done stuff with Andrade to make us hate him, or dislike him, I should say. So, with that being said, I'm going to go with Andrade to retain with the help of Vega.
That was terrifying.
Yeah, it was. Little bit of buffering there, but we're live, everybody. That's how it goes. All right, Robbie.
Yeah, Andrade's first of all, Andrade's a Flair now, so he's going to get that booking treatment. Mm-hmm. Second of all, outside of Ricochet, I can't think of someone more boring and bland on the microphone or personality-wise. It's like, why are you here? Why should I care? Okay, so you do flips, you jump into the crowd. Go to AEW, dude. They love that. But I need to have stories and a reason to back the wrestlers I like. And Humberto has all the talent in the world until he talks. He needs a mouthpiece. And he needs it now. But as of right now, there is zero chance that Humberto wins this title from Andrade.
Yeah, and Curtis Butler says Humberto needs more seasoning character-wise. I definitely agree on that. And GG Vision says Andrade is definitely going to win because Zelina Vega looks scarily like Trish Stratus sometimes. Okay, random comment right there. And OG Crushes, I would say, yeah, EC3 is more over than Humberto at this point, unfortunately. Well, maybe not unfortunately. I think EC3, if given the opportunity, could be pretty over, but he just doesn't get the opportunity. All right, moving on here. Let's get to some of the beefier matches. Well, not so much this one, I guess. Well, it's got some beef. We got Sheamus versus Shorty G. And I feel like we're all going to be unanimous on this one, unless it's one of those matches where everyone thinks Sheamus is going to win and then he gets DQ'd or some stupid shit like that. But I'm going to go the safe route. I mean, I'm going to try to go the safe route because we just reset the No DQ Predictions League. So for those of you that don't know, all of us here on Team No DQ, we have our Predictions League, which Sun Goshiku won last year. Caitlin came in second. I was like 5th or 6th or something. So I'm going to try to play it safe with my predictions early on. As the year goes on, and if I'm far behind, then I'll start taking chances. But for now, I'm going to try to play it safe. Sheamus is the safe prediction. WWE could get screwy and have him get DQ'd, or Shorty G wins with a roll-up or some stupid shit like that. That's going to be dumb. Like, this should just be a squash match. 3-4 minutes, Sheamus beats him, move on. Robbie, what do you think?
I'm going to go ahead and take the opposite view of you for the very reason is it seems like the most safe bet. And Shorty G is going to get a stupid fruit roll up on Sheamus. And then he's going to get absolutely massacred after the match. So that's my prediction. I pick Shorty G. And then sadly after the match, he will be killed by Sheamus.
Oh, for crying out loud. Big G, what do you think?
Oh man, I like Robbie's point of view, and I like your point of view. It's Sheamus did just come back,
but he's a veteran. He's already established.
Yeah, he's already established, and I mean, I'm more over than Shorty G is. I'm gonna go with
G versus Shorty G.
I'm gonna go with Sheamus to get the win. He's gonna do the bro kick in less than 15 seconds and get the victory.
All right, smart
now,
man.
I was gonna make a case for Shorty G because Sheamus refused to come back with that look that the Office supposedly wanted him to look like, the Jack Gallagher type look. I don't know how true that is. Sheamus said it, so I could see them booking Shorty G over him because he wanted to come back as a Celtic Warrior. But I'm not. I mean, come on. Sheamus is going to win this match. Bro kick. But what Shorty G's highlight of this match will be how good he takes the bro kick. He'll flip a couple times. That'll be his highlight of the match. But right. Sheamus goes over.
All right, well, Robbie might be right here, guys, because WWE does this shit sometimes every now and then. So nothing would shock me from this company. All right, next match. We have for the Women's Championship on SmackDown, or I should just say the SmackDown World Title, Bayley defending against Lacey Evans. By the way, while we're going through this, I'm curious to know what you guys think. If you want to add anything about this apparent change in WWE where the women's title is just going to be the world title, so there's going to be no men's title or women's title, just everything's a world title now. So I want to get your guys' thoughts.
Wait, is it that way on the main roster as well?
Not yet, but I mean,
it probably will be.
That's what it feels like. It's going to be inevitable that happens. And Becky wants to get rid of the whole women's division, period, and just, there's men fighting and women fighting, but there's no special name for it or anything. So I'll see if you guys have any other opinions on it. If you want to share, if you don't care, then feel free to just give your prediction for the match. I think Bayley's going to retain here. I mean, I really don't see any point in Lacey winning unless they're going to do something with Lacey and Sasha. But I just don't see the point in Lacey winning the title. I think Bayley should keep it for the time being and let her build up a reign. Anything's possible, though. Again, it's WWE. You never know. Oh, and Kent Terminated by Google sent in a $2 super chat, says, Big G, nice bird on Chad Gable, F his nickname. All right, so Big G, what do you think? Your thoughts?
I think this will be a decent match. I don't think they're gonna put the title on Lacey right away, so I'm gonna have Bayley retaining with the help of Sasha Banks.
I think that's a good prediction. Very solid. Virtue, what do you think?
I want Lacey to win here, but she's not going to. So again, I'll take a safe pick here because it's early in the season. Bayley will retain. But if Lacey won and I was wrong, I'd be okay with that. But I just don't think they're going to do it. So Bayley retains. Robbie Vice, what do you think, man? You look like confused right now, like you don't know who to go with.
No, I absolutely know who to go with because this ties into a later prediction I have, and Bayley is going to retain the title.
Okay.
And I think she's going to, I agree, I think she's going to win with the help of Sasha Banks.
All right. See, I feel like Sasha and Bayley would be a good WrestleMania match. Have them split up. Like I feel like that's the money match for WrestleMania, and they break up and they have their finally after all this time, they finally have their showdown at WrestleMania. Like I would like to see that. Power Packers 90 going off topic here with $2 says, so WWE saw what Impact is doing. I guess he's talking about, well, I guess it is on topic here with the whole women's division idea just being, well, what division is it? I guess there is no more difference between the men and women's divisions. I don't know. I mean, Robbie, do you think it's going to get confusing for fans if they just say the
to have
title?
4 WWE champions?
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. I mean, if that's the case, then they just need to go down to 4 belts again, one set of tag team, get rid of unify all this stuff. And if they really want to do it, but if they're going to do this, then they just need to have weight class divisions that actually mean something again, and not have Becky Lynch versus Strowman or whatever, but have them for the Intercontinental title. Like, have weight divisions, and this works. If you leave the formula the way it is now, then it's convoluted and it's stupid. That's my opinion.
So wait, what do they call the women's championship on SmackDown now? The World Championship?
Well, they haven't officially changed it yet. They did it with the NXT title. So as of now, Rhea Ripley is the NXT World Champion. And that means that...
See what happens.
That means that... I don't know. I don't know what it means. Okay. I'm completely lost here. Okay, let's move on to the next match.
I mean, it's the undisputed champion.
I don't know. I'm ready to move on to the next match. Let's go on. Oh wait, we did that one already. Botch. Okay, here we go. And I say this pretty early on because you know how it is. Like the WWE title ends up being somewhere in the middle of the show or opening match or something. It's not the main event, or not the WWE title, the Universal title. Excuse me. See, I'm confused with the men's titles as it is. So now you're going to make me even more confused with this whole thing with the women's titles. So we have the Universal title, Bray Wyatt, The Fiend, facing Daniel Bryan. Now, to me, the obvious outcome is Daniel Bryan putting over The Fiend again, and The Fiend goes to WrestleMania as champion. But Virtue, we were talking about this before we went live. You think maybe The Fiend could potentially be cooling off as champion? And do you think we might actually
I have
see
a bad feeling.
So what do you think?
I have a bad... With Bray Wyatt's recent Instagram and Twitter posts, I have a bad feeling he's not happy with the direction they're booking him, and he knows more than we do. He knows who's going over this or that. I could see Daniel Bryan definitely beat The Fiend, and next thing you know, we're looking at The Fiend like we did Bray Wyatt a couple of years ago. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to pick that. I'm going to stay my course. I'm going to say The Fiend will retain, and you're going to see why later when I pick my winner of the Royal Rumble, and he's going to go to WrestleMania to defend the Universal Championship. But I will reserve that chance that I could see them have Daniel Bryan go over clean against The Fiend, and next thing you know, The Fiend's not looking, very good anymore because of booking. I have a feeling something's not clicking with them recently. So, but I'm going to stay the course. I'm going to say The Fiend will retain. Just got a bad feeling.
All right, Big G, what do you think?
It's a strap match, so it's another stipulation. I'm gonna go with the Fiend to retain. You know, I'm gonna stay on the safe course and go from there.
Oh, I forgot it was a strap match. Robbie
Yeah,
Vice, what do you
strap
think?
match.
Well, I already had my crazy prediction of the night, and I'm going to go the safe route as well. And I think the Fiend has been built up to a character by this point that if he's going to drop the title, it has to happen at WrestleMania. Royal Rumble's a great pay-per-view, but the Fiend losing is a WrestleMania moment in the making. So I have to believe that Daniel Bryan will put up a fight, and it's going to be a pretty violent match. But as soon as that red light comes on, man, the match, it's already done. So I think they're booking the Fiend to lose at Mania for sure, but I think in this instance he's gonna retain, or else this whole character just flush him.
Yeah, the Yappa Pie Indian strap match, brother. This is gonna be an interesting match for sure. Now, I think there's so many dream matches you can do with the Fiend. Like, there's no good reason for him to lose. I feel like Daniel Bryan is just a placeholder feud until WrestleMania. You got the Fiend versus Roman Reigns for the title. You got the Fiend versus potentially John Cena for the title. There's so many different matches you can do with the Fiend. Fiend versus Undertaker for the title. There's a lot of matches that you could stretch out this title reign and have the Fiend be dominant. I don't think there's really any chance of Bryan winning. I would be completely shocked. I think it would ruin his character for him to lose the title. He's just way too hot of an act right now, and with WrestleMania coming up, you got to have the Fiend in a title match against one of the top stars. So yeah, Bryan's not winning this. I would be beyond shocked if it happened. But Virtue, you seem to feel... That's the thing about WWE. We always have these bad feelings because they're known for sometimes screwing with everybody and going with something that might not seem like the most logical outcome. But I'm going to go the same route.
I set myself up. If Fiend retains, great. I get my point. If not, I say, I told you I had a hunch. So, yeah, I did one of those, you know.
Well, you're taking a chance early. We're just starting with our predictions league, so a little surprising that you're...
But for the right, I said Fiend's retaining. I just said I had a hunch. I said I had a hunch that maybe something's going on, and he knows, like, that he might be dropping the title. But I couldn't. I'm still sticking the course.
Okay, so everybody went with Fiend then to retain.
Yes.
Okay, got it. All right. My bad. Okay, let's move on here to the next match, which is for the Raw World Championship, which is Becky Lynch defending the Raw Championship against Asuka, who's one half of the World Tag Team Champions. All right, so Big G, we'll start with you on this one. I mean, the whole storyline has been that Becky has not been able to get the best of Asuka. Asuka beat her at the Rumble last year. And that's that one wrong that Becky has to right. Now, do you think that Asuka could pull off the victory again and go on to WrestleMania? Or do you think Becky's going to beat Asuka, get her redemption, and then go on to face the Royal Rumble winner? What do you think?
Well, this should be a good match, interesting match. You know, you do have Kairi Sane probably on the outside. And this is what I see happening. Becky's going to retain. And somehow Kairi's going to get involved. And Asuka's going to try to hit Becky with the green mist. She ducks, hits Kairi Sane with the green mist. And Becky puts on the disarmor and gets the victory via submission. All
right. Now, real quick here, I am going to get to some of these super chats. Mo Camera, I'll talk about yours here in a few minutes. Real quick, let's go back to Bray Wyatt since I forgot to talk about these super chats. So Ken left a $2 super chat, says, do I want to see John Cena bury Bray Wyatt again at WrestleMania? No, I don't. And Mo Camera says, Bray Wyatt losing 4 WrestleManias in a row, shaking my head. I agree on that too. I do not think Bray should be losing at WrestleMania, as I've said many times. But we'll talk more about the Royal Rumble and the possible WrestleMania match here in just a few minutes. Let's go ahead and finish our predictions for this. Robbie, what are your thoughts on Becky versus Asuka?
So I think, and this will go into another prediction I have later. See, everything I have just ties together. It's a little ecosystem. I think Asuka's going to get the win here, and I think it's going to continue the story into WrestleMania where Becky can't win. She's going to be at her lowest point, and eventually she's going to overcome the heel at Mania. It's not going to hurt Asuka because she's still going to have her tag team title, so she's still going to look strong as a champion, and it's going to give Becky a little mini redemption story to kind of revamp her character. So I think Asuka is going to pull the victory out and be champion at least until WrestleMania.
All right.
Where she will get a rematch against Becky Lynch.
Sounds good. Virtue, what do you think?
Asuka had a title, right? She held the SmackDown title, right? So she had a title. This whole, I do not buy this for 1 second that Becky's feeling vulnerable to Asuka. They're just trying to make you think that Asuka has a chance. There's a no-brainer that the winner of the main event of last year's WrestleMania is winning this match, keeping her title, and going to Mania again. Now, they're probably not going to go on last, but you'll see why when we talk Royal Rumble predictions. Becky Lynch retaining against Asuka. No-brainer.
Yeah, I agree with you. WrestleMania, Becky Lynch going in as champion. It's not going to be Asuka in the main event of WrestleMania, especially when it's the Raw Championship. Becky retains here. Becky gets her redemption.
Robbie's the smartest guy in the room, though. So, we could be wrong.
All right, we shall see. All right, one more match before we get to the Rumbles. Here we go. It's a Falls Count Anywhere match. Roman Reigns versus Baron Corbin. Royal Rumble taking place at the Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. And Roman chose this stipulation. The idea is that they can fight anywhere in this big-ass stadium. Virtue, let's start with you. You are a big supporter of the big dog. Do you think he finally wraps up this storyline with Baron Corbin and gets his win? He lost the TLC, so is he really going to lose again to Baron Corbin on pay-per-view? What do you think?
He's going to beat him. I want to say Corbin was going to win but no. Roman's going to win this match. Easy peasy. Sorry, Baron Corbin, but you'll move into a new program. Roman Reigns, there's no way. I never bet. When I bet against Roman Reigns, he loses. So I'm going to say he's going to win.
All right. Well, I'm also going with Roman Reigns because, like I say, it's hard to bet against Roman, and he lost last time. Don't see him losing again. We are firmly in WrestleMania season now, and I think he's definitely picking up the victory here. And I do have a theory about Roman Reigns in the Royal Rumble. So Roman picks up the win. The feud with Baron Corbin finally comes to an end. Big G, what do you think?
Well, I was thinking, what could possibly happen in the Rumble, but then I was going against it. So I'm going to go with Roman Reigns to get the victory over here. I'm sure we'll see outside interference from Rude and Ziggler and the Usos and get some, Roman Reigns doing the dive over the top rope, but they're already just waiting there to catch him in all his glory. So yeah, Roman Reigns. It'll be a brutal fight.
Oh, and Mo Camera with the $2.79 super chat says, "No offense, Aaron, both of these guys are garbage." This guy just doesn't like Roman Reigns. I think that's
that sounds like what a Mark would say.
Ooh, all right, a little bit of Virtue's rage here. I like it. I like it a lot.
The Smarks don't like Roman Reigns. So, am I wrong, Robbie?
No.
All right, now,
Thank you
Robbie, I want to feed you a comment here and get your thoughts on it. So,
okay.
Bruce Batman says, Corbin wins, Roman wins the Royal Rumble, then the blow-off Roman versus Corbin at Saudi Arabia with the WrestleMania title shot on the line. So, interesting theory there. What do you think about that, and do you think there's any chance of that happening?
I think it's a fun idea. And I know I like to roll the dice on my predictions, and which is on a new T-shirt that we have, and I'm sure we'll have a link to that in the YouTube video here. But there is no chance that Roman Reigns is going to lose. Like I'm not betting against Roman Reigns. Even in my craziest predictions, I don't do that. Well, that could be fun, and I could see them doing that in Saudi Arabia. I do not see Roman Reigns after being forced to eat dog food losing at the Royal Rumble. So I can't see it happening.
All right, so far I feel like we're all pretty unanimous with our picks, with a few exceptions here. Overall, I think we're agreeing.
Me?
Well, yeah. By the way, guys, so the T-shirt, head over to NoDQ.com/merch to pick up a Robbie Vice T-shirt. We also have some other merchandise for Roll the Dice, and also, as you can see, Virtue with his censored Troll Slayer shirt because he has his background blurred. and the NoDQ.com hat. All that is over at NoDQ.com/merch. Use the code RUMBLE for 20% off. Head over there and support NoDQ.com for the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. All right, so now here we go, guys. It's time for the Royal Rumble matches. Now, what we're doing for our group with the Predictions League is we are going to have 3 picks. The pick that wins, if your pick wins the Rumble, you get 3 points. If your secondary pick wins, you get 2 points. If your third pick wins, you get 1 point. Each one of us and everybody on Team No DQ in our Predictions League will be doing 3 picks for the Royal Rumble. And at the end here, we'll say who we think is going to be number 30 as the tiebreaker question. So we'll also give our predictions for the number 30 spots in each Royal Rumble match. Feel free to give your comments in the chat room, guys. We're going to start off with the Women's Royal Rumble match. Now, let me pull up the graphic for this. And there's literally only 5 people on this graphic I have. Sarah Logan, Nikki Cross, Charlotte, Natalya, and Alexa Bliss. 5 people announced for this Royal Rumble. Now, we could have a lot more announced on SmackDown. And my feeling is it's going to be most of the roster on Raw and SmackDown. So just, whoever is on TV on a semi-regular basis. Iconics will be there, all those people. And of course, we'll have some surprises. There's speculation about a few people that have been out of action coming back for the Royal Rumble. We'll have to wait and see. And there are a few rumors about NXT stars coming in the Rumble match. Most notably, you see what Big G's
DDP?
doing. Not DDP, although maybe he could enter the Women's Royal Rumble just for the hell of it. I mean, Nia Jax entered the men's, so shouldn't it be all about equality? We could have a man, maybe Santino Marella enters the Women's Royal Rumble. Who knows? Anything can happen in WWE, right, guys? So, Big G, we'll start with you on this. Your first pick, your second pick, and your third pick. Now, before you give your
go
pick
backwards, though. Do your third one first. Go through 3, 2, 1. Do it that way.
3, 2, 1.
All
Okay.
right.
Well, Big G, let me read this comment from Mo Camera because he sent it a while ago. He wants to know why Shayna. I guess maybe you think Shayna's going to win the Royal Rumble. Is it too soon, and who would she challenge if she won the Royal Rumble? So go ahead. Take it away, Big G.
Well, let me answer Mo's question. So why Shayna? Shayna, it's time. She's been in NXT for a while. I mean, a lot of the superstars have been down there for a while now. But, she really doesn't have anybody else to face down there. She had a thing going on with Becky at Survivor Series. She pinned Becky or made Becky tap out, and then Becky beat her up after the match. So you got some kind of thing going on between the two of them. And obviously, if Shayna wins, she's going to face Becky for the Raw World Title. As far as my picks go, number 3, Sasha Banks. Number 2, Ronda Rousey. And number 1, Shayna Baszler.
All right.
Those are 2 bold predictions.
All right. Well, Virtue, let's get to you now. Now, Mo Camera sent another $2.79 super chat, and he says, "A mark calling others a mark. How ironic." What do you think?
Well, but I didn't pay $3 to call him a mark.
Fair enough.
Okay. Thank you. Aaron appreciates that. So am I up now? Do I get to go 3, 2, 1?
Yeah.
Yes.
As much as I want to say like Sasha and Nia comes back, this and that, my number 3 pick, Shayna Baszler. I could see that, right? 'Cause they did a little bit of heat at the end of Survivor Series with her and Becky. So there's my 1-pointer. The number 2 pick, I'm going to safe bet Charlotte Flair. And number 1, because this is money to be made the way it ended, and if she would have been pregnant and wanted to start a family, TMZ would have already broke the news. She'd have a bun in the oven, and she doesn't. Ronda Rousey is coming back, and she will be my number 30 pick. She will be number 30. She is going to win this Royal Rumble to go face Becky at WrestleMania, what fans wanted last year.
All right, so you just said Ronda for number 30. Big G, who's your number 30? This is a tiebreaker.
Well, if I have Shayna winning, I'm going to go with Shayna as number 30.
Okay, sounds good. All right, Robbie Vice, go ahead.
So I wrote this down before this show started. So I'm going to read this off. So for my third pick and my number 30 entrant, I'm going to go with Charlotte Flair because I think that would be a good swerve. And her winning is just going to set up another title reign. And everyone hates that, and they can have fun matches. My second pick is going to be Shayna Baszler. And then my number one pick to win the Royal Rumble this year. This goes back to why I believe Bayley retains with the help of Sasha, because Sasha Banks is going to win this title and she's going to challenge Bayley, and they're finally going to have that big WrestleMania match, Sasha versus Bayley. It's going to be like this big betrayal. Bayley's going to come out and congratulate her friend to get laid out by Sasha. It's going to be a really good story. And that also ties in with that leaves Asuka with a need for an opponent, which is going to be Becky Lynch getting her redemption at the end of WrestleMania. Smartest guy in the room, guys. It all just goes together. It makes the most sense.
He's probably going to crush us.
Well, he's either going to be like at the top or he's going to be way at the bottom, I think, for this one.
Smartest guy in the room or I'm a jerk. And by the way, Aaron, I know we were going to point this out earlier. Did anyone else find it hilarious that we had a super chat comment about our hairlines and now every single guy on this show is wearing a hat?
Hey, it is what
Throwing
it
it
is.
out there.
Well, Virtue has a nice head of hair, so I don't know what he's hiding.
Yeah. That's because he doesn't have to hide it.
Actually,
The rest of us do.
All right. So Christopher Mace, Chris Mace with a $5 super chat says, Big G, this is for Big G. Baszler made Bayley tap out. Should she win and challenge Bayley if she remains champion?
Yeah, that's right. So it was Bayley. I when I did read it. So yeah. So if Baszler does win, she should challenge Bayley. I mean, I like Robbie's idea too, but I think Sasha's going to be a heel for a good while.
Okay. And Caitlin, yes, I have enough juice on the phone, so we should be good. Caitlin needs my phone for the ladies of NoDQ. They're going to be doing their predictions in a bit, so I guess she needs my phone for it. Okay, so my prediction for the Women's Royal Rumble, I think that the winner is going to face Becky Lynch. I think it's going to be one of three people. It's going to be either Charlotte Flair, Ronda Rousey, or Shayna Baszler facing Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. The question is who? My safe pick is the person who's there right now, Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair is my first pick, although I'm not going backwards here, Virtue.
That doesn't matter. You're the boss.
Okay, well, I'm just going to go first to third. Charlotte's my first pick. My second pick is the person who I think makes the most sense. This is who I would go with personally, Shayna Baszler, because you had that angle at Survivor Series to set up WrestleMania. Shayna and Becky have that history already. You have that built-in story. To me, that's the match that makes sense. We've already seen Becky and Charlotte. Yeah, it would be cool at WrestleMania, but I think Shayna challenging Becky would be really interesting for WrestleMania. That would be my personal choice. But again, I'm going safe, so I'm putting Charlotte as my number one. And then number three is Ronda Rousey. She's a big question mark. She could end up coming back, and her versus Becky in a rematch, I think, is an interesting match for WrestleMania. But we still don't know if she's coming back yet. She might not be ready to come back. If she is coming back, she's doing a good job of keeping a low profile and not saying anything, not giving anything away. So Ronda's my third pick. Those are my three picks in that order: Charlotte, Shayna, and then Ronda. Now let's see. Kayfabe Candy says Big G's hat and hood combo has always been his gimmick. So there you go. And then Bruce says we could get Becky winning at WrestleMania, then Ronda shows up and they main event SummerSlam. Yeah, I think it just depends on when Ronda wants to come back. She might not be ready to come back yet. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. And as far as the number 30 goes, I will go ahead and say it's either, well, man, see, this is tough. I'll just go ahead and say Shayna is number 30 just for the hell of it. But I really don't know, and I hope it doesn't come down to the tiebreaker. It's a tough one to call. I really hope it's not Stephanie. Please, anything but Stephanie. All right, guys, and now we move on to the main event. Well, I think this will end up going on last. I think the Men's Royal Rumble match will close the show. The fact that only 5 women have been announced for the Women's Rumble, I mean, that tells you right there they're not really investing much in it. Oh, and by the way, Ken Terminated by Google with a $5 super chat says, There are rumors that Stephanie is thinking about competing in the Royal Rumble. I have not heard these rumors, by the way. And then he says, what do you think if Stephanie comes out as the number 30 entrant? And you guys just heard my reaction. I think, is anybody in this panel a fan? Big G.
No, I'm not a fan. But if Stephanie enters at 30 and wins, I will dye my hair blonde.
Stephanie should have never been in the ring, ever, period, her whole career.
Ouch. Well,
I said this before we started recording, that with Brandy Rhodes being the most hated on-screen performer that's a female in wrestling right now, maybe Stephanie's looking to bring that torch back. I don't think Stephanie's going to win, but I may pop a little bit if she comes out at 30, just because I know it's just going to really irritate a lot of people. And I know Virtue, I know that you would respect that.
Well, yeah.
You would have a field day. You would have a field day.
But I'm sitting there banking on Rousey coming back and being 30. So
you couldn't have a consolation prize of knowing that you're going to
absolutely
troll a bunch of people online. I know you, man.
All right, guys. Let's get to this main event match. The men's Royal Rumble match. Brock Lesnar, as we know, is the number 1 entrant in the Royal Rumble. Greg Cherry did a Royal Rumble pool. I forgot what my numbers were. They were pretty good. I had like 18 and 23 or something like that. But
no, I had 22, 23.
Oh, not bad. So I think I had 24 then. I had a couple of decent numbers. Now, I feel bad. I feel really bad. Anybody that's doing a Royal Rumble pool out there and you have numbers 2 through like 9, I feel bad for you. Because what I think is going to happen is I think Brock is going to destroy the first 10 people in the Royal Rumble. It's going to be one guy comes out, he tosses him out, and it's going to be like the first 10 people that Brock's just going to completely dominate the Royal Rumble. Then somewhere around 11 or 12, somebody significant's going to come out and be the guy to eliminate Brock. I think it's going to be Cain Velasquez that eliminates Brock, but I don't think Cain is winning the Royal Rumble. I'll go first for this one. I don't think Cain's winning the Rumble, but I think Cain is going to be the one to eliminate Brock. Now, as far as the Rumble winner goes, I have a few different theories. I'm thinking Bray Wyatt's opponent could be the winner of the Royal Rumble because Cain eliminates Brock. That sets up Brock versus Cain at WrestleMania, which my gut feeling is that's going to be the match for Mania, or possibly the next Saudi Arabia show. So Brock's going to be busy with Cain. The person who's facing Brock next is going to eliminate Brock, and that'll be that storyline. Then the winner of the Rumble will go on to face The Fiend at WrestleMania. I'm narrowing it down to a couple of people. One person is the obvious one, Roman Reigns, which I've been speculating on for a while now, that it would be Roman Reigns versus The Fiend. Because of all the active guys on SmackDown, Roman Reigns is the biggest star. He is the big dog of SmackDown. So he's, top guy versus top guy. However, when WWE announced the Baron Corbin match, that made me think, well, Roman's probably going to win against Corbin, end the feud, and now Roman has an excuse for losing the Rumble match because he went through a very grueling match with Baron Corbin. So he has an excuse now to not win the Rumble. However, he is one of my top 3, is Roman Reigns. I haven't decided. I'm still thinking about it as to who my top pick's going to be. Now, Mike D just sent in a $5 super chat. He says his prediction is that Roman is going to win the Royal Rumble. Drew will eliminate Brock. Interesting idea. To set up a Mania match for the title. I think that's wishful thinking, Mike D, but I do like it. Edge returns and eliminates Seth Rollins to set up the WrestleMania match. That's an interesting one, too. I may take a chance on this one. Okay, another guy I'm thinking to face Bray Wyatt, The Fiend, at WrestleMania is John Cena. There was a report about John Cena possibly having a big match at WrestleMania. And The Fiend versus John Cena could be a big one. The other thing about Roman Reigns, why I don't think he might not win the Royal Rumble, is because Goldberg went on Twitter and responded to Roman Reigns. There was a little back and forth between them on Twitter, which makes me think that perhaps they're planting the seeds for something. Now, it could just be for the Saudi Arabia show. I think that's why this Rumble is so difficult to predict, because there's all these different things that can happen, and now we got the Saudi Arabia show coming up as well, which can open up the door for all these different possibilities. But yeah, I feel like there's several things pointing away from Roman winning the Royal Rumble. Otherwise, Roman would have been my number one pick for sure. John Cena's up there, and then the other one is the big rumor, Edge. Edge versus The Fiend at WrestleMania, I think would be a hell of a match, and Edge could put over The Fiend at WrestleMania. I know it's one of those scenarios where believe it when you see it. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going with John Cena as my number one pick for the Royal Rumble to face The Fiend. Number 2, I'm going with Edge as my pick. And then third is the big dog, Roman Reigns. I think it's going to be one of those 3 guys facing The Fiend at WrestleMania. Now, Christopher Mace with the $2 super chat says Drew McIntyre eliminates Lesnar and wins the Royal Rumble. I don't think both is going to happen. I don't think somebody's eliminating Brock and winning the Rumble, but let me give the floor to somebody else here and take a break from talking. Robbie Weiss, go ahead.
Again, I had this all written down earlier with my crazy predictions and everything. So we're going to go for 3, 2, 1 because I'm not the boss, so I can't deviate from the rules. I would say my my number 3 pick to win the Royal Rumble this year is Brock Lesnar. And there's a couple of reasons for that. The biggest reason for that is so Lesnar can now be the poster child of going from number 1, and this further pushes Chris Benoit out of history. I think there's a chance that Brock Lesnar wins the Rumble. Paul Heyman gets on the mic to do the "I told you so," and then all of a sudden, stupid Cain Velasquez walks out, and it sets up his stupid match for WrestleMania that no one wants to see. My second pick is going to be, again, I'm rolling the dice because I'm Robbie Weiss, is Edge, just because there's rumors that he's going to be there. I think it would be a possibility, and I agree. I think Edge would face The Fiend in that scenario. And my number 1 pick for this WrestleMania is going to be John Cena, because while I think John Cena will be in a big match at WrestleMania, because that's what I've seen online, and I had to think, who would John Cena face? Would he be the one to beat The Fiend? I don't think so. I think if John Cena is going to beat Ric Flair, if you look back at it 10 years from now, him beating Brock Lesnar for his big title, I think is a bigger footnote in history, a bigger impact thing than him beating The Fiend. And it just makes the most sense because Cena can have that redemption. He can come back. It's a feel-good story. He beats Flair's record, and he finally defeats Lesnar, and he does it on the biggest stage of them all, the showcase of the Immortals. And if we're going to go with a tiebreaker, number 30, it's going to be my number 2 pick, Edge, because if Edge comes out, I really don't think they're going to be having him come out at 18 or like 26 or something like that. It's going to be the big pop, and he's going to come out and he's going to probably hit his spear, throw the guy out of the ring, and that's going to be how WrestleMania ends, with Edge standing up there and confetti falling. So just to recap, Brock 3, Edge 2, Cena 1, 30th pick, Edge.
Right, and I just wanted to say I agree with you, Robbie, about that. I think it's going to be Edge as the 30th entry in the Royal Rumble. Virtue, what do you think?
No, we're not going to see Punk. We're not going to see Edge. We're not going to see Undertaker. We're all. If we get a surprise at this show, it's Ronda Rousey, like I said earlier. Brock also isn't going to work an hour match. He's not going to go the distance. So with that said, I have to be very safe with this. But at number 3, my third choice is going to be Seth Rollins. He's in the match, right?
Yes.
Okay, nobody picked Seth Rollins. So I'm going to go Seth Rollins at number 3. Number 2, I'm going to go Braun Strowman. Really a guy I think should win it, and they should finally push him. And, of course, number 1, no-brainer, because I see Bray Wyatt defending The Fiend, defending against Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is going to win the Royal Rumble. It's time. He never lost the Universal title. WWE, a guy leaves for leukemia to get better, right? He relinquishes his title. Why has he had no interest in getting it back for over a year? That's the stupidest booking the past 12 months I've ever seen. So if you don't make him win the Royal Rumble, because he should be in the title picture, because he's Roman Reigns and he never lost it, it's just stupid. Any one man would come right back for what they never truly lost, right? So it's been horrible by WWE because the fans were cheering him because of the leukemia, and they didn't want to have him getting booed again. I don't care if they push him and he gets booed again. That's the Roman I want back. I want the Roman Reigns that everybody hates because he's pushed is Vince McMahon's golden boy, and if he wins the Royal Rumble, I get what I want.
All right, quick question to everybody in the chat room. Did Ken terminated by Google's tweet appear on the screen just now? Because I did this little overlay. I'm not sure if it went through or not. But Ken wanted to know why Rollins.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, you did. You saw it on the screen? You're watching the chat room? Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right, so Christopher Mace with a $2 super chat. Let's see, I'm not sure if it's popping up on the screen or not. He says, who is everyone's surprise entrant that they want to see? Okay, we could do that as well. Big G, you're last here. Go ahead and give us your thoughts.
Oh, wait. I got to pick a number 30. I need to pick. Number 30 is going to be somebody disappointing. It's going to be R-Truth. It's going to be R-Truth. It's going to be like somebody like, you're serious? That's number 30? Wasn't R-Truth number 30 before?
No, he came out during the middle of the match thing.
I'm saying somebody absurd, R-Truth.
All right, well, Big G now, go ahead, give your thoughts and any surprises you would like to see, and of course your top three.
All right, so my top three. Number 3, I guess, will be Edge. Number 2 will be Roman Reigns, and number 1 will be Drew McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre, interesting. Any surprises you would like to see?
Obviously Edge. Maybe Cena. That'd be nice to see, like Robbie talked about earlier. And if there's any miracle by God, maybe a CM Punk surprise.
That should be everybody's number one choice. Like, if that's the question we were asked, what surprise would we like to see? CM Punk.
CM Punk, yeah.
Because that's going to create the biggest internet buzz because no one's ever expecting him to work again.
Yeah. And my number 30, for the heck of it, let's go John Cena.
All right. Well, yeah, I agree on Edge as the surprise. And I'm not really sure maybe just somebody we're not expecting at all. I mean, we are kind of expecting Edge, and, CM Punk's always in the back of our minds. But, yeah, like, just somebody totally random, like Ken Shamrock. I know he's with Impact Wrestling, but, somebody like that, like, or Val Venus or something just completely out of nowhere. That would be awesome.
Triple H.
No, please not Triple H. No, Triple H.
I would love it.
And Stephanie in the women's row.
Oh, my God.
What about Keith Lee? We all forgot about Keith Lee. See, now that he's the North American champion, I don't see him really getting involved in the main roster stuff.
I was thinking about that, too. Because, if Keith Lee did enter, he could have that stare off with Brock Lesnar and, possibly Roman Reigns and whatnot. And that'd be cool. But now, since he won the title last night, he could be in the Rumble, but not win it. He could have that 2 or 3 minutes in the Rumble, get like 1 or 2 eliminations. Heck, he could even eliminate Brock Lesnar for all we know. So,
well, what does the chat say? Who does the chat think is the most right out of the 4 of us? There's no super chats of anyone backing any of us right now?
Well, Nigel just said Booker T is a possible surprise entrant, and I think that's a great one because Booker's been training, and there's the talk about Harlem Heat doing the reunion.
Houston. Are they in Houston?
They are in Houston.
The hometown.
So, I think Booker T is a very likely candidate for the Royal Rumble. Steve Austin, I think, is highly, almost 0% chance.
Noah Foster, change my order. Obviously, Roman Reigns is my number 1. I want Rollins number 2 and Strowman number 3. That's my official picks.
Okay. So, apparently, R-Truth was number 30 last year, but then Nia Jax came out and attacked him.
And he's going to come out thinking he's still number 30. I don't know. He's coming out number 30. That's my pick.
All right, and Christopher says Matt Riddle enters the Rumble and has a face-off with Lesnar. Interesting, but I feel like that's just so random. I think it's going to be like a Cain Velasquez if somebody like that comes out to attack Brock. Honestly, I feel like we're not really going to see any NXT guys. Maybe one guy, but I feel like there's not going to – I mean, already 25 people have been announced, so there's very few room for surprises as it is. I'm just not really expecting too much as far as NXT guys go.
No.
All right, guys, so that's it for our thoughts on the Royal Rumble, and it looks like I finally got the chat room set up here, and now I can put actual comments on the broadcast. Oh, Christopher Mace, let's pop up his super chat. He says, I'll back Robbie Vice's interesting theories. There you go, Robbie. Christopher Mace has got your back, Jack.
I appreciate it. He's a smart guy.
Oh, who comes out at number 2? I feel like it's going to be R-Truth. just for the shits and giggles.
Somebody wrote earlier, what if Dominic came out at number 2?
Or Rey Mysterio, you know, it'll be somebody like that. Or Ricochet.
Somebody go the distance.
Oh, let's not forget about Jinder. Virtue, your man Jinder could be coming back for this.
Shanti.
What do you think about that?
Unless he's pushed to the main event, I don't care. That's when it pissed people off. But yeah, number 2. Who would be number 2 with Brock standing out there? I don't know.
Probably Ricochet or something dumb. Like, because what is Ricochet going to do?
No, think about what they did on Raw. That's
what I'm saying. Yeah.
It is going to be Ricochet.
He's like, I'm not afraid of you, and then he's just going to get destroyed.
It's going to be Ricochet.
Because Lesnar's going to be pissed.
R-Truth, one of those two.
Ricochet. R-Truth is number 30. You watch.
Okay.
All right. Let's go ahead and do our plugs, our final plugs. Now, chat room, give me some crazy theory or prediction you have for the Royal Rumble, and I'll put some of them on the screen as we wrap this up. Of course, everybody can see the Twitter handles, but if you guys have some other stuff you want to promote, go for it. Vice, let's start with you.
Outside of my Twitter, I have nothing to plug. I do some other shows with Virtue, and I'm sure he might allude to those if you guys like what you see here. I don't know, man. It was a fun show. I would like to see some super chats before we get the video of at least people who think, is it Vice? Is it Rift? Is it Virtue? Is it G? Who is the most right person here? But definitely give me a follow on Twitter. Let me know why I'm the smartest guy in the room, or tell me I'm a jackass. I mean, whatever. It's all fine. We have fun. I'm sure I'll be here in the comments talking with you guys and participating. And what about you, Mr. Big G?
Well, wait a second. Real quick here. Sorry, Big G, to cut you off. Ken Terminated by Google said, what about TGS's boy EC3? I don't even think he's going to be in the match, quite frankly. But go ahead, Big G.
Well, actually, real quick, I saw TJS picked EC3 for winning the Rumble and being number 30 for all 3 spots. And he drew hearts around it. I don't know what that means, but it was weird.
All right, Big G, go ahead with your plugs.
Yeah, so like on the screen, you can follow me at NoDQ_Big G on Twitter. NoDQ_Big G on Instagram, Jeff Felt on Facebook. Like Aaron said earlier, go check out NoDQ.com/merch. Mr. Robbie Vice with his brand new spanking t-shirt.
Roll the dice, man.
Rolling with the dice with Robbie Vice. 20% off with the code Rumble, and that's it for me.
Now, real quick, Mike D with a $2 super chat. We completely overlooked her. He brought up Paige returning in the Royal Rumble. None of us talked about it. I'm shocked about that. I mean, again, it's like believe it when we see it, right?
Yeah. At this point, she's been gone long enough with such a serious injury. Because I think she has scoliosis as well. I think she has some issues with her back, and I don't see it happening. But I mean, would it be cool? Yeah, I would love to see it happen. Absolutely. But
no, I was gonna say, what about AJ Lee? But then again, that's high hopes too.
Yeah, I think that's really unlikely. All right, Virtue, go ahead with your plugs.
All right, follow me on Twitter at NoDQ_Virtue, or go to my Facebook page, NoDQ.com/Virtue, and you will see other content that I do with Robbie Vice over on Andre Corbeil's page and Big Vito's page. So we do stuff there. Of course, I'm writing some new columns coming up soon on NoDQ.com. Virtue's Rage, the written column, is coming back again.
All right, and Curtis Butler says The Undertaker knocks Brock out of the Royal Rumble. I didn't even think about Undertaker either. Like, he could be in the match possibly and even win it. None of us even brought that up as a possibility. So that's very interesting to me. I mean, I would not rule that out. Kent Terminated.
Well, as I was counting them off, Aaron, I said no Cena, no Punk, no Edge, no Undertaker. I said no to all of those.
And Kent Terminated by Google with a $2 super chat says, Rob Vice, you know I think you were the smartest mofo.
Hey, man, thanks. It's true, though. That makes you smart for thinking it, though.
There you go.
Robbie, how'd you get on NoDQ.com?
Because someone else who was also smart identified me as talent.
All right. So I was really happy with how this turned out. I figured out the overlay situation. I figured out the chat situation as we were doing this. So work in progress here, guys. But this stream went really well. No problems from my end. Hopefully it turned out good for you guys. We will be back next week with the No DQ review. And We're going to be putting up the chat messages on the screen, so think of some interesting stuff. Send your super chats, send your comments, and we're going to add some more features, with this overlay thing. There's a way you could share the screen, so we might be able to do some fun stuff with that. This is really cool software I have. It's called Ecamm Live, for those of you wondering about streaming your own stuff. So check it out. Of course, go to NoDQ.com. The ladies of NoDQ will have their predictions up fairly soon. And then we will be doing a recap of both shows. Caitlin will be on with me most likely for those, along with Aaron. So check that out this weekend. TGS enters number 30 dressed in EC3's gear. Just had to throw that up as the final comment of the night to take a little dig at TGS.
The visuals.
And just give us some feedback. Oh, wait a minute. Mo Camera with a $14 Canadian super chat says, there's a misunderstanding. I don't like Cena and Reigns because from a technical standpoint, they are trash in-ring wrestlers.
False.
Dude, you're awful. You're just a trolling mark. Go back and watch. Roman Reigns is one of the best workers. It's not about flipping and flying and diving. It's about working. It's called, wrestlers don't call it wrestling behind the curtain. They call it working. And Roman Reigns is one of the best. And the fact that you hate him so much, that's just a missed opportunity on Vince McMahon for never making him heel. Oh, because then you would have liked him. But yeah, you say Roman's trash or anybody like that, you clearly don't know what professional wrestling is. You just think it's flipping, flying, and diving. Robbie, what do you have to say about that?
I mean, if you want to see trash, just look at the AEW women's division, and those wrestlers are absolute garbage. So if you're going to talk about the best wrestlers in the world, and you're not going to put Roman Reigns or Cena on that list, yeah, did Cena do a bad springboard stunner? Sure. Yeah. Is he the most technical guy? No. But Vince McMahon is not going to go to garbage wrestlers over and over again, which is why he kicked Alberto Del Rio to the curb, and that's why he's not employing half of these women that are in AEW.
Dude, Roman gets the flack from the scripts that he had to once recite.
Oh, yeah.
You know
his
what I mean?
scripted promos were trash.
And the fact that Vince makes him come out and still be the babyface heel wearing the Shield gimmick. That's not his fault.
Yeah, his
but
character
it doesn't
is
mean he
terrible
sucks
at
in the
times.
ring. Yeah, and of course, when you have to be the person that follows Super Cena and you have to do 5 moves of doom as well. But think about that. Through all of that, he survived leukemia again, and he still takes awesome bumps, knows how to sell, knows how to make his opponents look great. Look at that series of matches he had with Braun Strowman. It wasn't his fault they decided to not push Braun after that. Right. Roman on a silver platter said, here you go, Braun's your next main eventer, and Vince McMahon had cold feet. But Roman did his job. Braun looked great that year.
Yeah. I'm not sure if Mo's trolling or if he's really serious. I mean, not everybody likes Roman Reigns and John Cena, but, I mean, we've had this argument so many times over the years. Ken terminated by Google.
10 years.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, with Cena, it's been even longer. Ken, with a $5 super chat, says, Virtue and I have differences, but I agree. Reigns is a solid worker. Look at his matches with Styles. They are underrated 5-star matches. And NoDQ Rocks, we'll just throw his comment on here real quick because it's another topic we haven't addressed regarding the Rumble. NoDQ Rocks says, before you leave, Aaron, why did nobody on the panel mention Shane McMahon returning us and swerving us in the men's match?
None of us want that.
No, I didn't think it's going to happen. Yeah.
And I just don't see the point. Like, there's so many other things that they're going to do for WrestleMania. Like, Shane's not even going to be there, most likely.
He's taken enough spots, I think, over the years. And if he learned how to throw a punch, I might support it, but I don't think that's happened.
It would be funny.
I think Shane McMahon was that masked creeper that was on AEW a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, it would be funny to, like, troll everybody, have Shane come out, and then everyone's like, oh no, Shane's going to win this, and then he doesn't. Mike D with a $2 super chat. He says, Roman is the one that got Braun over with the fans. I mean, that feud really did put Roman Reigns on the map. Would you agree, Virtue?
Put Strowman on the map.
Yeah. WWE, I mean, Strowman should have became world champion. Roman did everything a person is supposed to do to get that next main eventer over. And for whatever, I don't know if it was backstage stuff, whatever Vince McMahon, he had cold feet and he pulled back on it. And he threw him to Lesnar, and it was never the same for Strowman since. That was not Roman's fault. Roman delivered him to Vince McMahon on a silver platter, and Vince tasted it and said, nah, I guess not.
All right. On that note, we'll go ahead and wrap up this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like the video, subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest. We will see you guys next time.